13. All right. I'm trying to count and everybody's jumping around the screen here. Hold on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right, Mayor, ready when you are.
Okay, so we are live streaming. I'd like to call to order the November 10th meeting of the Common Council, the November 10th, 2020 meeting of the Common Council. If you'll all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk, if you'll please call the roll. You're on mute.
Okay, sorry. Mr. Burnett. Ms. Johnson,
Here.
Mr. Langella,
Here.
Mr. Sacchinelli,
Present.
Ms. Smith,
Here.
Mr. Huvelman,
Present.
Mr. Roberts,
Present.
Ms. Revolis. I see you.
Here, you didn't hear me?
I see you.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Ms. Young,
Here.
Mr. Kites,
Here.
Mr. Theodorides,
Here.
Mr. Keegan.
Here.
Mr. Sirenides,
Here.
Mr. Livingston,
Here.
Ms. Shanahan.
Here.
Mr. Burnett. 14 present, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes of the regular meeting of October 27th, 2020. Do I have a motion? Made by Miss Shanahan. Any corrections, deletions, omissions? Seeing none, Ms. King, all in favor? I was gonna have you do a roll call. Okay, everybody raise their hand. I can't, all right, Mr. Theodorides, are you in favor as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's unanimous. Thank you.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is public participation. Mr. Manzi, do we have anybody scheduled to speak?
No, we don't, Mayor.
Okay, Ms. King, would you please read into the minutes the letter that you have received?
I received an email which was sent out to all the council people this evening. It's from Diane Lauricella. She writes, tonight's council agenda presents some important opportunities related to the Land Use and Building Management Committee agenda. Items 1, item B, 12, ABC, based upon what I observed at the last Land Use and Building Management Committee meeting. Barbara Smith's question about bathrooms in the science building was spot on and something that was ignored by staff and others years ago. The answer to Barbara's bathroom question by Jim Giuliano and Alan Lowe was inadequate. I too have heard the same promise of, quote, we'll look into it concerning solar power and additional green building measures, and then changes occur that delay or cancel the plans. I suggest the council add the caveat, quote, if the science building is included in the new Norwalk High School, bathrooms must be included, or withhold the approval. Number 2, a second measure to insist upon is the use of solar energy related to the Norwalk High School project. when I brought up that renewable energy measures such as solar should be included at the beginning of design process, the Giuliano Low team repeated their usual song and dance of throwing technical terms and in brackets, lead, cogeneration, etc., at layman council members and previously at Board of Ed members, and did not fully inform them about the choices. The time has come for the city to get a second opinion about use of solar energy for our schools and all public buildings. Therefore, please also consider withholding Norwalk High School approval unless language states that, quote, renewable energy measures, passive solar, and leased photovoltaics, I don't know how that's pronounced, must be part of the design for this project right at the onset, unquote. 3, items B 3-11. Lastly, the management of the underground fuel tanks removal project has led to a large waste of tax dollars. While these tanks need to be removed soon, the city could have realized a large savings if the removal program was phased in over several years. As the years wore on, the threat of leakage and the cost of removal, soil disposal, and contamination cleanup increased. Therefore, before you approve these items, the Board of Ed and the city needs to compile a list of all remaining underground fuel tanks and immediately make plans to remove them from a priority, with a priority given to oldest tanks and tanks near bodies of water or drinking water wells. Then there needs to be accountability as to why, in this case, the school system waited the full 30 years before removal. Many tanks leak before their estimated useful life due to soil conditions, piping, etc. I'd be happy to send you additional information about the above concerns. Please advise. And this is sincerely Diane Lauricella. Mr. Mayor, I noticed that the president of the symphony is with us tonight. I wondered if she was also going to speak as a and wanted to say something regarding an item on the agenda.
Hi, I'm Sandra McClave. Thanks, Donna. I would be very happy to. I didn't know if the public comments was the right time or when you got to the agenda item from the Land Use Committee about the naming of a hall. So I'm just waiting for you to let me know when the right time would be for that.
The right time is right now, Ms. McClave.
Okay, as I said, I'm Sandra McClave. I'm the Executive Director of the Norwalk Symphony Orchestra. We have had 2 meetings with the Land Use Committee with our proposal to rename a portion of the hallway leading to the community room. The second portion of the hallway, the first part is the Veterans Hall, in honor of one of our board members who passed away last year, Ms. Anita Benkin. Anita was a board member of the symphony for 38 years. She was very involved with the Norwalk Youth Symphony, with the Norwalk Symphony, and arts in general in Norwalk. And we would like to honor her and her involvement from someone who just had a passion for our community in so many ways. And she happened to bestow her grace upon us, but was always there as a helping hand to so many people in our community. We have had a request from a former employer of hers to pursue this. There was talk of other areas within the city, but we feel that Anita's role on the board, not only in our board as president, as vice president, as head of hospitality, but also with the Norwalk Youth Symphony, leads this section of this hallway to the community room as an opportunity to remember her and all that she's done for our city and over the years. She passed away last year, right around this time in November, just around Thanksgiving time. And so we respectfully request, I know that the Land Use Committee, and maybe Alan wants to chime in, did approve it unanimously. And so as we get into the agenda with the Common Council, we would respectfully request that you also honor this request, and we will work with the city to make sure that there's appropriate signage and a plaque in Anita's memory.
Thank you, Ms. McClave. Truly appreciated. Any further, Mr. Manzi, has anybody signed on since we've had the last 2 comments?
No, Mayor Rilling, there's no one else.
Okay, thank you very much. So we will move on with the agenda. There are no resignations or appointments. So I will move on to the mayor's remarks. The first remark relates to the situation of which we are all too sadly aware of, COVID-19, but this time its impact on City Hall. Cases continue to rise in Norwalk, around the state, and certainly across the country. And currently, the town clerk's office is closed to the public, and the tax collector's walk-up window is also closed at City Hall. City Hall remains open by appointment only at this time. So if you're interested in knowing how you might be able to get a document from the town clerk's office, you can find that information on our website. And also, if you're looking for information on the tax collector's office, you can find that on the website. Also, tax collector and many people in her staff are working remotely. So the function will not cease, but will continue moving forward. Tomorrow is a very important day in the history of our country, Veterans Day, November 11th, in the city of Norwalk, and the Norwalk Military and Veterans Liaison Committee will be hosting a brief ceremony at Veterans Park at 10:30 tomorrow. We are going to be enforcing capacity based on the number of the new 2.1 phase that we find ourselves in. Remember that the city of Norwalk and many other cities now, and communities for that matter, are in the red zone, which means that we are seeing an increase in cases, and we have more than 15 cases per 100,000 on a rolling average. There are no other activities planned. I know there was information that there was going to be an event inside City Hall. That was never planned unless there was going to be rain. But now we know that there may be rain tomorrow, but based on the new restrictions, we will not be able to host anything inside of City Hall. Sustainability achievement. The City of Norwalk recently achieved a bronze certification from the group Sustainable Connecticut. In recognition of the community's sustainability accomplishments. Sustainable Connecticut is a statewide initiative that encourages and supports communities in becoming more resilient, inclusive, and efficient. Norwalk is one of 17 municipalities that qualified in the fall of 2020 for certification. We have a press release out about this later in the week with more details. And I want to give a shout out and a job well done to all the departments and the city employees who worked so hard to make Norwalk the city that it is. We continue to do testing. So each day in my briefing, I put out testing locations about COVID-19 and where you can get a test. Under normal or most circumstances, you don't need a doctor's prescription or symptoms or an appointment. But it's always better if you can call for an appointment so you can make a time slot sometimes rather than having to wait. We've just gotten notice that some of the testing is taking an exceptionally long period of time, longer than normal, partially due, in fact, to the number of people that want to get their testing. We had an event at City Hall at Vets Park yesterday, where we passed out with the Connecticut Food Bank approximately 1,200 turkeys, which went to some needy families here in the city of Norwalk. We know that food insecurity is a reality. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people are struggling. And this is just one way of us trying to help out. We've had several food drives and we've handed out a lot of food to the residents of Norwalk. Yesterday, Ms. Shanahan and Mr. Burnett were there. I want to thank them. I know Ms. Young has been at virtually all of them. Yesterday, she must have had something really important. I didn't see her there, but she probably would have been there. And Mr. Roberts has been there as well. So thank you to all who work very hard to make sure that we take care of the citizens of Norwalk in doing what we have to do. That is all that I have. I don't know if you have any questions. If you have no questions, I will pass it on to the Council President, Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, here we are. We find ourselves at the first council meeting after the election, and that means my term is up. And I'd just like to, say a few words to thank the council for this opportunity to serve as your council president. It's been a great honor working with you at this level over the past year. We had some real challenges with COVID and having to make this transition to Zoom meetings. It's created a lot of challenges and difficulties for us. I'd like to thank our IT department and our intrepid host, Larry Mancy, who is always here with us. So thank you for that. And just really finally, as an educator and a lifelong lover of learning, this has been a real learning experience for me, getting to have a deeper understanding of the intricacies of running this complicated city, having the honor to work with our chiefs and staff and the mayor at this level. It's just been a great honor. And so as my last act, as the outgoing council president, I get to take nominations for our next council president. So do we have any nominations? Mr. Langella.
Thank you, Madam President. And I would also like to thank you for your service this past year. I would like to nominate Nick Sachinelli for the role of council president. I have known Nick personally and professionally for 15 years. Nick is a 3-term council member, and I see this as an opportunity for us to gain a different perspective from a tenured leader. I believe this is a chance to generate new ideas and new strategies on how we can work together, as well as with our city stakeholders. Nick's deep relationships have provided countless introductions and points of contacts that have helped me build the confidence to make informed decisions. To me, this embodies this role, and I believe he shines here. This includes weekly checkups as well as offering his time and advice on many items. In summary, I feel that Nick has grown tremendously, and I'm keen to see what is in store next for him should he assume president. Thank you all for consideration, and I ask that you nominate Councilmember Nick Sachinelli.
Okay, any other comments?
If you don't mind.
Mr. Kites.
Thank you. I've had the pleasure of knowing Nick for quite some time now, and on your 3rd term as I believe you have the experience and the knowledge needed to do the position, not just well, but exceedingly well. I'm proud to call you my friend, and I'll keep this brief and just say, I thank you for taking on this heavy responsibility. Like Mrs. Smith had just said, it's no easy task, and there's a lot to handle, especially with a 14-1 majority. But I know you're up for it, and I thank you, Nick. And it's like I said, I'm thankful to have you as a friend.
Okay, are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? I have to do that officially 3 times. Okay, so I will call for a roll call vote. Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Langella.
Yes.
Mr. Sachinelli.
Yes.
Ms. Smith, that's me, yes. Mr. Hoovelman.
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Revolus.
Yes.
Ms. Young.
Yes.
Mr. Kites.
Yes.
Mr. Theodorides.
Yes.
Mr. Keegan.
Yes.
Mr. Sirenides.
Yes.
Mr. Livingston.
Yes.
And Ms. Shanahan.
Yes.
Congratulations, Mr. Sachinelli. We have a unanimous vote for your tenure as council president. I will be passing this off to you. I'll drop it by your house later this week, the official plaque of council president. And I will now turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to thank all of my colleagues who just supported me in this vote. It means a lot to me. But with that said, I want to offer special thanks to Councilor Smith, who was dealt a very unique hand in leading the council through COVID, which no one could have predicted. And there was no handbook or established best practices for, or even a predecessor to ask questions of. And this last year posed a landmark challenge for everyone, but she did an outstanding job. And I'm very grateful for her to have established a foundation for me to expand upon into this next year, where we'll face new, but unfortunately similar challenges. Councilor Smith, thank you for the work you did over this last year. And thank you all again for this great honor. I promise not to let any of you down. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sachinelli. Congratulations.
I think with that, we move on to the announcements of majority and minority leader. Is that correct?
That's
Mr.
correct.
Mayor?
That is correct.
That is correct.
Thank you. So it is, as is common practice, we do conduct these votes in our respective caucuses. I do get the honor to make this announcement as my first duty here. And I am proud to announce that the Democratic Caucus has elected Mr. John Kites as majority leader. And the Republican Caucus unanimously voted Mr. Tom Keegan as minority leader. Congratulations to you both.
Was it a close election, Tom?
Tight race.
Mayor, it was lengthy. We had to take, the smoke came out of the chimney finally around midnight.
You won by one vote, I understand.
I won. That was it.
And I believe that, congratulations to both of you. And I believe with that, now we're on to the consent calendar, which will be read tonight by Mr. Tom Livingston.
Thank you and congratulations, Mr. Sachinelli. And I think everybody should just take a seat because this may take a while. So item 7A1, technical correction of the Common Council action of October 13, 2020. Item 7A7 to add accounts designated for state project 102-360 traffic signal upgrade and installation of dynamic message signs, account noted. Item 7A2, technical correction of the Common Council action of March 12, 2019. Item 7C4, to add accounts designated for project PM 2019-1 pavement management program, accounts noted. Item 7B, land use and building management committee. Item 2A, resolved that the Norwalk Land Use and Building Management Committee is hereby established as the building committee with regard to the Silver Mine Elementary School asbestos abatement project. 2B, resolved that the Norwalk Common Council hereby authorizes at least the preparation of schematic drawings and outline specifications for the Silver Mine Elementary School asbestos abatement project. And 2C, resolved that the City of Norwalk Common Council authorizes the City of Norwalk Board of Education to apply to the Commissioner of Administrative Services and to accept or reject a grant for the Silver Mine Elementary School asbestos abatement project. Now turning to items 3 through 11, these all relate to underground storage tanks at different schools in the city. I am going to read the first resolution fully and then go through the rest of the items in terms of the names. It's just the same identical resolution with different names. So 3A, resolved that the Norwalk Land Use and Building Management Committee is hereby established as the building committee with regard to Nathan Hale Middle School underground storage tank removal project. 3B, resolved that the Norwalk Common Council hereby authorizes at least the preparation of schematic drawings and outline specifications for the Nathan Hale Middle School underground storage tank removal project. 3C, resolved that the City of Norwalk Common Council authorize the City of Norwalk Board of Education to apply to the Commissioner of Administrative Services and to accept or reject a grant from the Nathan Hale Middle School underground oil tank removal project. Moving on, items 4A, 4B, and 4C are identical resolutions relating to the underground storage tank at Kendall Elementary School. Items 5A, 5B, and 5C, again, identical resolution dealing with removal of underground storage tank at Roten Middle School. Items 6A, 6B, and 6C, again, identical resolution dealing with the removal of underground storage tank at Fox Run Elementary School. Items 7A, 7B, 7C, again, identical resolution dealing with removal of underground storage tanks at Merrimack Elementary School. Items 8A, 8B, 8C, identical resolutions, again, underground storage tanks relating to Rowayton Elementary School. Items 9A, 9B, 9C, identical resolution relating to the underground storage tank at Silver Mine Elementary School. Items 10A, 10B, 10C, identical resolution dealing with underground storage tank at Tracy Elementary School. And items 11A, 11B, and 11C, dealing with the underground storage tanks at Wolf Pit Elementary School. Okay, moving on. I guess this would be 7B13, which is We authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Newfield Construction, Inc. as the construction manager for the Cranberry Elementary School new construction project. Terms of the agreement shall include the following: A, pre-construction phase services, including reimbursable allowance, $76,000. B, CM fees, percentage of total trade bid, 1.12%. C, CM contingency, percentage of total trade bids, 1.5%. Following the bidding process, final contract GMP will be submitted to Common Council for approval. Account noted. Item 14, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with A.B. Tucci, Inc. as the construction manager for the Merrimack Elementary School kitchen addition and interior renovation project. Terms of the agreement shall include the following: pre-construction phase services, including reimbursable allowance for $10,000. CM fees, percentage of total trade bids at 4%. CM contingency, percentage of total trade bids at 5%. General conditions cost for $156,975 to be finalized during the execution of GMP amendment. Following the bidding process, final contract amount, GMP, will be submitted to Common Council for approval. Account noted. Item 15, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an interim license agreement with the Riverbrook Regional Young Men's Christian Association, Inc. for the occupancy of portions of 98 South Main Street building in order to provide needed community service programs. Agreement period shall be from January 1, 2021 to June 30, 2021. Terms of the agreement shall be as set forth in Alan Lowe's memo dated October 29, 2020. Item 16, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a contract with Guardian Services Industries, Inc. to provide building management services, including management, engineering, and janitorial services for various municipal facilities from January 1, 2021 to June 30, 2026 base period, with 2 additional 1-year renewal options. Annual fee shall be as follows for a total not to exceed: January 1, 2021 to June 30, 2021, 6 months, $944,093.61. July 1, 2021 to June 30, 2022, $1,929,843.73. July 1, 2022 to June 30, 2023, $1,984,170.83. July 1, 2023 to June 30, 2024, $2,042,014.56. July 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025, $2,106,849.46. July 1, 2025 to June 30, 2026, $2,170,956.58. July 1, 2026 to June 30, 2027, this is an option, $2,238,065.44. July 1, 2027 to June 30, 2028, an option, $2,307,215.14. Funds are available from various operating budget accounts. Moving on, item 7C, Recreation, Parks, and Cultural Affairs Committee. Item 1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into an agreement with Gill & Gill Architects, LLC, sole source, for the repair of exterior doors and window flashings in the Gallagher Mansion at Cranberry Park for an amount not to exceed $26,160. Accounts noted. Item 7D, Finance and Claims Committee. Item 1, authorize the Chief Financial Officer to execute an up to 48-month agreement with the qualified low bidders for project number 4074, electricity generation supply service for city locations. Moving on, item 7E, Planning Committee. Item 2, approve the amendments to the 2020 to 2024 Consolidated Plan and PY 46 Annual Action Plan, and authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents associated with its submission to HUD. And that is the consent calendar. Back to you, Mr. Sachinelli.
Mr. Livingston, that was fantastic. I think I would have called for a brief recess if I was reading that somewhere in the
My
middle.
Gatorade here.
That is this evening's consent calendar, and back to Mr. Mayor.
No, you have to take a vote on it?
Oh, I apologize. First timer here. Let's do a roll call vote on tonight's consent calendar. Now I'm I'm just going to read off the screen. Is that all right?
Yep.
There's no particular, or Ms. King, can you read that?
Sure.
Thank you.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Langella,
Yes.
Mr. Sacchinelli,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Huvelman,
Aye.
Mr. Roberts,
Aye.
Ms. Rabulis,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Kides,
Yes. I'm not sure why you can't hear me. Sorry.
Mr. Theodorides,
Yes.
Mr. Keegan,
Yes.
Mr. Serenides,
Yes.
Mr. Livingston,
Yes.
Ms. Shanahan. Yes. It's unanimous. 14, yes.
Thank you. And now, Mr. Mayor, back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Sacchinelli, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's see here. I have to go backwards, and I believe we're going to go back to item 7B1, I believe. Mr. Livingston.
Yep, it's me again. Item 7B1 is a motion to approve to dedicate a portion of the first floor corridor between the Veterans Hall of Honor and the community room in memory of Miss Anita Benkin as a long-serving member of the Norwalk Symphony for dedication of music into the city of Norwalk music community. I'd like to speak to that if I could, please.
Yes, Mr. Livingston, you have the floor.
Thank you. We heard earlier this evening from Ms. McClain, Ms. McClave on this item. I think she pretty well summed up Ms. Benkin's contributions to the city of Norwalk and to the music program. I just want to note a couple other things about this. I mean, it's quite remarkable when you go back and look at all that Ms. Benkin did, and in fact, all that the Norwalk Symphony does. It's really quite an asset to this community. And I just can't say enough good things about her and this organization. In fact, I just read, as I was doing some research for tonight, that the Norwalk Orchestra was named the best performing arts group in Fairfield County, which is quite an accomplishment, I think. But more to the point, Ms. Benkin's has been an integral part of all of the history of this organization, and I think she truly does deserve to be recognized, and I think this is an appropriate manner of doing that. I will add that this being a naming action requires the vote of a majority, that is 10 members of the council.
Supermajority.
Supermajority, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. King, since we need a supermajority, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Langella,
Yes.
Mr. Sacchinelli,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Huvelman,
Aye.
Mr. Roberts.
Aye.
Ms. Ravulis,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Kides,
Yes.
Mr. Theodorides,
Yes.
Mr. Keegan,
Yes.
Mr. Serenides,
Yes.
Mr. Livingston,
Yes.
Ms. Shanahan.
She said yes.
Okay. You have 14, it's unanimous.
Thank you very much, and congratulations, Ms. McClave, and thank you for all the work that you do on behalf of the Norwalk Symphony Orchestra. You know, it's been in existence now for 80 years, and it's a testimony to the resilience and the talent and all the wonderful things that the Norwalk Symphony Orchestra does. And we're very proud to have you in our city, and very proud that you have chosen the Norwalk Concert Hall for your performances. So thank you.
Well, I would reiterate back to the city, thank you for allowing us to call the concert hall home. We're very honored to play there. We just did an outdoor concert outside to reinforce the fact that that is our home and we can play inside or outside there. I'd like to thank the council and the mayor and the land use committee for agreeing to this request. And we will certainly keep you posted as we move forward with honoring Anita and with the plaque that we do. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thank you. Okay, that brings us on to, I believe, if I've gotten this right, items 7, 12A, B, and C. Mr. Livingston?
Yeah, I'm losing my voice here. I'll try. Item 12A, resolved that the Land Use and Building Management Committee of the Norwalk Common Council is hereby established as the building committee with regard to the new Norwalk High School, new school construction project. 12B, resolved that the Norwalk Common Council hereby authorizes at least the preparation of schematic drawings and outline specifications for the new Norwalk High School, new school construction project. And 12C, resolved that the City of Norwalk Common Council authorizes the City of Norwalk Board of Education to apply to the Commissioner of Administrative Services and to accept or reject a grant for the new Norwalk High School project, new school construction project. I'd like to move the item and speak to it if I could, please.
Please.
Thank you. This is really the next step on a project we've been talking about for some time now. We included it in our capital budget in the spring. And this relates to the new Norwalk High School, obviously. As a reminder, the new Norwalk High School is going to really have 3 schools, each with their own individual identity. There'll be PTech, a visual and performing arts school, as well as the regular Norwalk High School. Because of this innovative approach and the fact that we'll be getting students from other districts, the state has approved special legislation. They approved it in early October. And under this new legislation sponsored by Bob Duff, the project will receive up to 80% reimbursement, which is quite a high reimbursement, subject to the grant application being submitted no later than December 31st of this year. And I just wanted to highlight, I know we all know that we had budgeted a higher amount originally, and I wanted to turn it over to Jim or Jim Juliana or Alan Lowe to talk for a moment about the current process of reconciling the number that we first put in and what the state has approved, which is $189 million, which is a lot of money. So anyway, I'll turn it over to Jim. Maybe you can talk to that for a moment.
Thank you, Mr. Livingston, and congratulations, Mr. Sachinelli. I enjoy working with you in the Land Use and Building Management Committee. The legislation approved roughly $36 million less than what we had gone in for originally on a conceptual design and conceptual estimate. With that, when we heard about the amount that was approved, I immediately got together with the team that we're working with that helped put the original budget together back in February. We took a good hard look at the estimate. We took a good hard look at the size of the school, the space. We did find right off the bat, we did find that we were double counting some square footage between the estimator and the architect, and we made corrections to that. We also took a good hard look at the materials that we're going to use or that we're proposing to use. We also took a look at some recent projects that were bid in the Fairfield County area and made adjustments to our unit costs. Made adjustments to materials that we're looking at using, and got the project down to actually we're at 189 million right now. What we do suggest is that we're going to move forward, or we suggest that we move forward with the design of the swimming pool. However, have it as an add alternate as a safety valve. As the project develops, we'll have a much better understanding of where we are with the overall cost of the project. Any particulars that we may come across during the design process and investigation process. We just feel more comfortable approaching the project in that regard, rather than say the pool is going to be in there right off the bat, and we come across some unforeseen conditions that may have to require us to, go in a different direction.
Jim, excuse me, maybe you want to explain what add alternate means?
So certainly. So again, like I said, we plan on designing the pool with the design of the school. And as the design develops further, our estimates become more accurate because we know exactly what we are doing. We've done investigative work, and we have a much better comfort level with the budget. So an add alternate is like I said, we're going to have the design incorporated into the documents. And as the budget gets further developed, the estimate gets further developed, we'll have a better idea of where we stand within that budget. And if it looks like we are going to be able to afford the pool, we're going to move forward with building the pool. That may be, it may be in the first step of the process, what we call schematic design. It may not happen until, toward the end of the process during the construction document estimate. But again, if we move forward in that regard, the team is much more comfortable saying that we can meet that budget requirement of $189 million. Any questions regarding that? Yes, Tom?
Yeah, hi, Jim. Thank you for your explanation. In our Land and Buildings Committee meeting last week, what struck me right away was that we are in the design phase of this building, which should be the crown jewel of our public school system. Yet, right off the bat, we're already looking to make sacrifices. And I'm not comfortable with that. And I just want to know, do we have enough money to build this high school?
Yeah, Tom, we feel we do have enough money. So, one of the things that we did not do during our review of the estimate and the building is we did not sacrifice any of the program. So the program is intact. We took a look at different types of materials. We took a harder look and had more accurate estimate numbers as a result of bid projects. And that's where, we took up most of these, where we were able to get a lot of the savings. So, programmatically, the high school has not changed. Like I said, we just feel comfortable and we're going to move forward with the design. And Tom, we've only done what they call the conceptual design. So it's basically, designing blocks within the space that, we're proposing to put the school and making an estimate based off of those blocks. So really the design hasn't started. We haven't selected an architect at this time, nor have we selected a construction manager. We're working with an architect and a construction manager, just on a preliminary basis only. So that way we do go in with a better comfort level that we are accurate in our estimate, and that everybody is on board. The professionals are on board that yes, we can build this building for that amount of money. However, we'd feel much more comfortable going in saying, let's design the pool. And as we move forward with the design and have better, more accurate estimates, because we know at that point what we are building, we find that we have money, we'll put the pool in and construct it.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Any further questions for Mr. Giuliani or Mr. Lowe? Sorry, Mr. Giuliano.
Thank you.
Seeing none. Ms. King, would you take a roll call vote?
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Langella,
Yes.
Mr. Sachinelli,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Huvelman,
Aye.
Mr. Roberts,
Aye.
Ms. Revolis,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Kites,
Yes.
Mr. Theodorides,
Yes.
Mr. Keegan,
No.
Mr. Cyrenaides,
Yes.
Mr. Livingston,
Yes.
Ms. Shanahan,
Yes.
13 yay, 1 no.
Thank you. The motion passes. I believe that brings us now to item 7E1. Mr. Kites?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item E1, authorize Mayor Harry W. Rilling to enter a contract with Dorenberg Callenbach Advertising to provide tourism and branding marketing services in a sum not to exceed $100,000, and the account there is noted. I'd like to move that item, Mr. Mayor, and speak to it briefly, if I may.
Mr. Kites, you have the floor.
Thank you. This initiative took place because of the result of the mayor and council's reorganization of city staff, and that being the creation of the Department of Business Development and Tourism. What we're voting on tonight is to secure Dorenberg Callenbach Advertising into a one-year contract to provide marketing services and tourism branding. I think this is a good thing. I think it's something that we've been talking about for years and finally got around to doing it. And I think Jessica Casey, the mayor's office, and everyone's really, hit the ground running on this one. I think it's not only is a good opportunity to let folks regionally know how great Norwalk is, it's also an opportunity to attract new businesses and new people to Norwalk. So I'm very happy that we're finally at this stage. I have confidence in this company. There was over 13 responses to the RFP, and this company won out, and I'm pleased with the end result. So hopefully it has the support of the council this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Kites. Any further comment? Seeing none, Ms. King, if you would call the roll.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Langella,
Yes.
Mr. Sachinelli,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Huvelman,
Aye.
Mr. Roberts.
Aye.
Was that yes?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Revolis,
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Kites,
Yes.
Mr. Theodorides,
Yes.
Mr. Keegan,
Yes.
Mr. Cyrenaides,
Yes.
Mr. Livingston,
Yes.
Ms. Shanahan,
Yes.
14 yeses. It's unanimous.
Motion carries unanimously. Do I have a motion? Mr. Huvelman?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Huvelman. All in favor, just raise your hand.
Aye.
Unanimous. Mr. Theodorides, I can't see your hand, but I'll assume that.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you all.
Good night.
Night.